Good morning, students. This is Marlene. I am doing a video this morning that I had intended to do last night, and the laugh was on me because the state of Kansas Department of Aging and Disability Services was offline last night. So this morning I have brought the site up. It's up and going again, and I just wanted to show you, number one, that it is our credentialing agency. You need to know these items I'm going to share with you for the CNA information quiz. I stick this quiz on this week to just supplement some information you're not going to find anywhere else in the books, and that way you know it. It's kind of stuff I go over with the CNAs when we first do our face-to-face class, and so this is your way of knowing this as well. So Kansas Department of Aging and Disability Services goes by KDADS. It's the ones that surveys the long-term cares, and it's also the credentialing agencies for the CNAs and CMAs. So in order for you to be able to direct questions in the future once you become a CNA or know who to contact with the state, this is the place you go. And I've brought up the screen for you so that right here you're going to see there's all kinds of good stuff. If you would search the screen, that would help you in your career. But where we're going to particularly go this morning is the health occupations credentialing, and that's this little thing right here. We're going to click that, and we see another page that comes up. There's some good things for you to know here. You can kind of go through this and figure out much yourself. But this certification verification for CNAs, HHAs, and CMAs is where you will go to get your credentialing number once you have taken your state test. Once you have passed your state test, they assign you a number, but they do not mail things out anymore like the old days. This is the 21st century, and things are online. So they expect you to go online and look up to see your activation status. So if I click that, Kansas Nurse Aid Registry, and I'm going to do certification verification. By the way, this is the same place the facilities go when they go to hire you to ensure that you are an active CNA in the state of Kansas. Let me just put in a name. You can go with social security number, you can go with name. I will use the information that you have placed online for your birth date, your social security number, your address, and all of that. That's the information I'm going to use because I have to put that online to them prior to your taking your test. So they have that in the system. So if any of that information is incorrect, you might send me an email right away so we get that correct, because especially that social security number, if that is wrong, your date of birth is wrong, it's kind of time consuming to get that fixed, and that's not something I can do. You will have to do that with the state. But I'm just going to put like Susie Brown. How about a Susan Brown? Doesn't that sound like a name we can come up with? And there's several Susan Browns on this screen. I'm just going to choose this one that says Nurse Aid here. And you can see here that it was issued 1992. She's still active, been a Nurse Aid obviously for a long time. She has another name, and that's the other thing I wanted to point out to you is you need to let the state know when you change your name. Say you get married or whatever, they may ask for some information, but there's a form you can fill out from this site and send to them. You can email this stuff to them now instead of mailing it, and that makes it easier too. But notice that she's got an employment verification end date of 1/11/2018. As long as she continues to be active in the state of Kansas, that will continue. You get certifying credits through your facilities. They are supposed to educate you on an ongoing basis. So that's how you get education to continue to work as a nurse's aide, and they let the state know that you're actively working. At this point in time, with the state of Kansas, if you have not worked actively in 2 years, you will have an inactive status right in here at this. And in order to get reactivated, you would have to take like a recertification, refresher course, or maybe a recertification checklist that we do here for a charge, of course. And then I would go over all of the details because the state wants to make sure that you're still competent to be able to provide cares according to today's guidelines, standard of cares as for today's standard of cares. And then I fax that into them, and they're really good about getting that reactivated, but it's easier to not have to get it reactivated. So you do have that 2 years before, again, if you continue to work as little as 8 hours within a 2-year window, your status is going to remain active. But it does have to be at a facility that's receiving state dollars for Medicare, Medicaid, and it's like in a long-term care setting or the hospital setting, clinics, that type of thing. All right, so I told you about this certification. Let me go back if I can. I'm going to click out of this one, and that's how you find where you're at. Remember, I have to put that in, so the information you have given the college, please make sure that that is correct. I'm going to go back out to the site, and I'll close this thing down here. And some other things I wanted to point out to you. Certification regulations. There's information here for nurse aide, medication aide, and home health aide. And there's a bunch of information here for you, for the nurse aide, to look over. Here's frequently asked questions that would be really good for you to go over, and it'll tell you much of what we're talking about today. Go back to nurse aide again, and this training reimbursement. This is what tells you that if you hire on within 12 months of your having received your CNA, that the facility that hires you is obligated on a prorated basis to pay you back that money. And it's really nothing that is that's putting them out, because they cost report that back out to the federal government and get funds for that anyway. But on a prorated basis means that, say, if you wait 6 months and then hire on, then you would only get 50% of that back. But the state wants you to be aware of that you have, this is guaranteed to you. Any facility that is getting Medicare, Medicaid funding. So you might want to read more about that, going forward as you head into this profession. Okay, now where I wanted to go next, 2 things we need to do. I wanted to cover this real quick. 2 things we need to do before you can actually apply for, or before you can take the state exam, is that you must take this 90-hour course and complete all of the hours, including the clinical hours, and you must supply me information that I will send to the state. Well, this semester, I am going to take the information that you have supplied to the college, and I'm going to send that to the state for you. So you have to apply for the test, which I do now for you because that's how the state wants us done. And you must pass this course successfully with a C or better. You must complete all of your clinical hours. Now, let me explain to you that the clinical instructors out there kind of are set on a schedule too. They work other jobs, and so they have set aside time for you to be able to do this. And if you miss clinical hours, that's on you. You may not be able to successfully pass this course, even if you have an A. If you don't have all 45 clinical hours in, you cannot pass this course. So you're going to have to make sure that you work with your clinical instructor within the hours that they've set. for you, because remember, these are professionals and they are not doing this on a volunteer basis.